Okay, now we're on to the multiple choice application. So I'll click on multiple choice in the tab, and again, as with all the other activities, I'll just label this MC1 since the name won't appear. And I'm going to create 5 questions for my first activity. Since this is for pre-K, I'm going to use very little text, so I'm going to remove the question text here. Now the way to do that is to highlight it and just press space, and it will put a space return there, and so that it won't actually show any text. And the way I'm going to do this is by just adding a question image, and by having my answers as numbers. So I'm going to use the pictures I'd already created for my hot spaces application, and I'm just going to drag them from my Finder straight over to question image, and it will get sucked in and added onto the question. And then I'll press add, and here I can have an image as my answer, or I can have a piece of text. So the correct answer is 3, and I'll add that. Now it's up to you how you want to do this. You can add extra distractors here by adding another answer and putting 2, or another one putting maybe 4, and so when this question comes up, the students will choose from the options given. Or you can, if you leave these blank and you remove these, the program will actually take the available answers from the other questions in the set. So depending on if your set has a certain theme where the answers are only allocated to a certain image, then that will work. If you wish to have different questions within the set, then perhaps the wrong answers aren't very good distractors, so you may wish to add your own individual distractors on here. So I'll just add an image, add another question, again press space, and then drag my other image in. And then click 5 as my answer, and again continue doing this all the way through. So I've added my 5 questions just with images, and I can add a piece of text at the bottom here along with audio. So my text instruction will be drag the answer to the middle, and then my audio might be a little bit more in depth by saying count how many objects there are in the center, find the number, and drag that number onto the image, something like that. These options at the bottom here, this indicates where the answer will actually appear to be dragged into on top of the question. Just leave it as the default underneath. This one here, if you uncheck the correct answer required, then it will move on to the next question once the question has been answered, whether it was right or wrong, which isn't the best thing to use because they never then know if the answer was right, what the right answer was. And these options here, I always leave it on majority rules. If there's 4 students or more answering, they will have to get more than half the answer together for it to actually accept it. If they don't, majority doesn't choose an answer together, then it will just reject their answer and wait until they do agree on a majority. On this one, all of the answers have to agree. They will have to drag their answer in as the same. On this one, the first answer to actually be dragged on is the winner. So I usually leave it just on majority rules. So that's my multiple choice activity created. And again, if I go to preview, you can see that in action. So it will come up here with my instruction. The question will appear in the middle, and this can be rotated by the students. They can count, and then they'll drag their actual answer onto the block, and it will tell them whether they're right or not.